Hi, Alexandra Batuk here, your GTA realtor at Keller Williams neighborhood and connecting people today. So I would like to introduce Adelina Beila, optometrist today. And the question that I would like to ask, what optometrist is doing and why people can come to you?
So, optometrists are doctors that diagnose any kind of eye problem, pretty much. So if you have anything from something got into your eye, red eye, if you have an allergy, if you just simply feel you cannot see properly and you need some pair of glasses and you want the proper prescription, or you have some problems like diabetes or glaucoma or cataracts, anything like that, we all check that, we all diagnose it, and we advise you what you can do and how you can improve it.
So when people come to you, you can actually do everything in your office, wherever you are, right? You have all the technical material and...
Correct, yes. So we have the machines that we can look into your eyes under the microscope. We can check your vision with a specific, it's called a phoropter machine with multiple lenses to specifically find your prescription. We can see the back of your eyes. We usually use some drops to dilate your pupils and get a good view all around.
So when someone has like a red eye, usually people go to their family doctor.
Yes.
Is that the right way, or there is another way of dealing with it?
It is one of the possibilities you can do. You can go to your family doctor. Just mind it, family doctors are a general physician who has been trained in all kinds of specialties. We are a narrow spectrum doctors that specifically know everything about your eyes and anything related to it. So we have a little bit more understanding, a little bit more equipment, a little bit more kind of time for you to come to us and give you a more comprehensive analysis of your eye health. Whereas in GPs, they're going to look at you and they're going to tell, well, I think there is something bacterial or inflammatory or this or that. They'll just give you something simple, by the book drops to fix it, and if not, they will tell you maybe if it's going to go worse, go to emergency or your optometrist. So why would you do that step if you can come to us right away?
Can you tell me what's the process? If someone comes, is something covered by OHIP? Do people have to pay you direct? What is the procedure?
So to understand the schedule of coverage in Ontario, so OHIP covers kids from birth essentially until they turn 20. Every year you have a coverage for a comprehensive check, or if you have any problems in between, you can always come in for a partial check.
So kids can come for free?
Kids can come for free,
Up
yes.
to 20 years, that's
Up to
amazing.
20 years, yes. And if parents have any coverage from their works as insurance, they can always claim it for the kids if they need to purchase any visual correction. With adults, 20 to 64, usually they're under coverage for insurance from their work, or they're categorized as private patients. So if they're pretty healthy, they have no eye problems, then yes, they are private patients, they pay for the service. If there is any particular disease or condition that we're following them for, there are exceptions and those are covered under OHIP. So, for example, diabetics. So there are a lot of complications with the eyes that we can see with diabetes. Unfortunately, you can even go blind from having complications in your eyes from diabetes. So those people, as same as with the kids, they're covered every year for the full comprehensive check, and we always collaborate with the family doctors to try and give them the full picture of their general health relating to that problem.
So can I ask you a question? If someone has a problem, like for example a pink eye, right? And they come to you and they're not covered by their work insurance, how much usually the price for one, like range price for the visit?
So in most of the clinic, the range for, it's called the red eye appointment, so any kind of red eye, it's around from $50 to $55 from the clinics where I work. So it is always dependent on location. So the more central you go to downtown Toronto, the cost will be higher because obviously the business expenses are more. While if you go more to, outside of the center, then you'll have a little more flexibility of how much you pay for.
So it's very reasonable, basically.
Very reasonable, yes.
Do you also deal with prescription glasses?
I do. So my job is to tailor make your diopters for your glasses. So either glasses or contact lenses. So you need to make sure that you don't get any eye pain, you have no headaches, you feel comfortable, you can see all distances. So I am tackling that, and I'll give you your prescription. Usually it is valid for 1 to 2 years. And with that, you can go to any optical store. So an optician is the person who will fit the proper frame to your face, will choose the right lenses with the right coatings, so you feel that you can do whatever you need to do and don't hustle with, can I see it or not.
So you mentioned to me a little bit earlier that there are 3 doctors basically for eye. So what are the doctors and what each of them do?
So there is a hierarchy of eye-related issues and where you go for what you need. So there is an optician to start with. That person is fitting the frames for you. They're choosing the glasses, the ones that should fit you and you can use them for a long time. If you have anything wrong with them, they're broken, they're misaligned, you come to optician to fix that. If you want to have your eye health checked and you want to know what is your prescription, you want to know if you have dry eyes, you want to know if you have healthy tissue at the back of your eye, you come to me, to Optometrist, and we can do the full diagnostic procedures on you and tell you where you are at the time. And then if we see anything to worry about, if you have any particular problem that we know might need some specialists to look into it, so there are ophthalmologists that come after me. They are medical doctors who are trained to be eye surgeons. So they are specializing, let's say, in the front of the eye, or specifically in cataract surgeries, or looking at the back of the eye only. So their field is even narrower, and they can do more enhanced procedures if needed. So I would be the person to discuss it with the patient, say what I would suggest they do, and refer them to the appropriate specialist to be looked at.
So thank you so much. That was very, very explanatory to us plain people as to what we can do and come to you with. But where can we find you? That would be one question. And then the other question, how did you get to the point where you are? What were your studies? What were your certification processes?
So I currently work in 3 clinics. So usually with optometrists, we move around, we don't stay in one place. And I have 2 clinics that I'm in Etobicoke. One is in Cloverdale Mall, which is called Kodak Lens Cloverdale Eye Care. Then another one is at West Mall and Bloor. There are some law and healthcare offices on the 2nd floor on the plaza where Starbucks is and RBC. So there's a little corner plazas there. And my main clinic, where I'm usually the most, is in Mississauga, which is Clarkson Crossing Plaza, and the place called I Believe Optical.
Beautiful. And
yes.
How did you become a doctor?
So to start with, I finished biomedical degree in York University here in Toronto. After that, I really decided to be an optometrist, and I explored my options, and I ended up actually going to UK to do my optometry school. So that was Aston University in Birmingham. So I finished that, and after I stayed to work in UK just to gain some experience. So I did a couple of years of work in London, which was great. I gained quite a broad knowledge of how the system works there, and just got my skills a little bit upgraded. And then I always wanted to come back to Canada after all my studies. So my family was very happy for me to be back about a couple of years ago. So this is my 2nd year practicing in Canada.
Just out of the curiosity, the system in UK and system here, what benefits do you see here more? Because we're Canadian.
Yes. It's such a extensive topic that I always trying to analyze and see how I can improve and combine my knowledge from two different systems and see what works better. UK is, an old mother queen that has been around for a long time, and they had already did a lot of trial and errors, and they know what works, what doesn't. So their system is definitely very black and white.
Okay.
In Canada, we're a young country. We still have a lot of things to build on, to work, to research. So I would say there are a lot of areas for improvement. We have a lot of flexibility here, so it's good in a way, but we definitely need to, try better as much as we can. So I think both countries have their own specifications, but to be honest, was I doing much different in UK than
when you're
here?
talking with a patient?
No,
basically,
it's same kind
same
of care.
service,
Yes, we have maybe a little more privileges in Canada. In UK, you had to work a little bit longer to get your certification to prescribe any ocular medication. In Canada, I had to do, to be honest, in total about 27 exams before they gave me license in Canada. So they are very particular. And after those exams, they give you license to prescribe any kind of medication to pretty much able to treat a lot of eye problems that are not related to having any surgical, corrections. So that will be your ophthalmologist, as I said before.
How long did it take you, the whole process of becoming a doctor?
So the whole process took me about 9 to 10 years. So it is a long while.
And I thought you were 18.
Yes,
you started studying early.
Yes, so it is quite a challenging journey. However, if you like it, if you feel that you can commit fully to it, it's actually a lot of fun, and it's very interesting, and it's such an involving field. There is always something new happening. I try to go at least once a month to conferences, to dinners from eye institutes to try and update my knowledge and see what's going on, so I can tell my patients, oh, did you know, and from last time I saw you, this is what happened, and are you interested? Is it something that would maybe work for you? So I think that's very important, and that's what makes it interesting, because you never have this boring day to day. Every day is different.
And how long does it take you to get a job in the field? Is it difficult to get a job in the field if someone decides to pursue the career?
It's definitely, at the moment, from my experience, I didn't have problem finding a job. It's very easy. It's not enough optometrists in the whole Canada. As you might know, there's only one optometry school in Waterloo University for whole Canada. They kept trying to open more, but didn't happen. So only with 90 graduates per year, they cannot cover the whole Canada. Obviously, the more populated cities have more of us. The more rural areas have less. So if you even wish to relocate, they will take you right away. They'll give you a full-time position, no problem, just because they need you.
One more question that I think a lot of people are actually doing, especially Ukrainian background. There is a health tourism. When people go back to Ukraine to take the treatment or to get their eyes checked, the new prescription glasses, is there a difference between Ukraine and Canada? And what can you suggest to people that are doing that?
Yes, so I got across a few, Ukrainian people that came to me, and they have a different understanding of what kind of services they should be getting comparing to what they experienced back in Ukraine. So in Ukraine, from what they explained to me, they checked their prescription. It took them 2 seconds to do it for them, and they just pick their glasses, and maybe they do a quick sweep under the microscope to tell them what's going on with their eyes, but that's about it. And then they come to me, and I spend half an hour usually with each patient to get through everything, to check the eye muscles, to check the pupils, to check the prescription, to check the health overall of the eye, tell them if they have dry eyes, for example, which is a very common issue right now. And they are surprised because they didn't expect to spend so much time and didn't expect to know so much about their eyes, and that there are so many important things that they can know about it and improve the state of their eyes because they never tried before. And then when I tell them a little bit about it, they realize like, oh, I shouldn't feel that. And it's just gradual change that catch up on me, and I got used to it and I can live with it, but I never thought that I can make it better. And that's why I think it's a very wise idea to have occasional eye checks. So usually, just as an example, every year to 2 years is advised schedule to have your eyes examined. For the kids, they are developing, that's why they're covered every year. For seniors as well, over 65, all have as well covers their eye exams. So every year as well, we expect, let's say, a little more complications or a little more rapid changes. Exactly. So we want to see you more often. If you're a healthy adult, you're not experiencing any problems, you don't wear glasses or maybe like a little prescription here, yes, every couple of years should be more than enough. If you have any problems in between, at least you have a person to go to that has your history and can tell you, you know, based on what we saw before, this is what happened, this is what's different or the same or better or worse, etc.
And what is the price for the eye checkup?
So usually it ranges, yes. So I would say starting around $75 up to $95. Sometimes if you do some extra testing, it costs, you know, additional fee for that specific test. And we always let you know why we're doing it, what we're doing it for, what we're gonna see with it. So, you know, let's say 75 is your minimum.
Thank you so much. It was very knowledgeable and I highly appreciate you agreeing to this interview. Hope it was helpful for you. And I was with Adelina, Beila, and this is Alexandra Butyuk. If you need any of our services, we will be happy to help you. Thank you.
Thank you for your attention, and I think this is great. This is like a video blog for all of us, and I think information is a great power that you should use, because without it, you cannot really, you know, get every life situation in order. But with having all of this, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I think it's a great way to introduce each other.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.